What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. We are here with the Be A Good Sport Seasonal Championship. And we have to use a retro sports car in the B class. There are plenty cool cars available. You can either go with a classic Skyline, you can go with a Supra, but since we are driving for a BMW reward, I chose the BMW Z3M Coupe from 2002. It's also very inexpensive, so that helps. Tuning shellcode is in the description as always. And we are jumping right into race number 1. This tune is a little bit different than the other ones because it's one of the drag tire tunes. The famous ones where you overtake everybody at the start and then you just try not to fly off the road. And they're popular. I just don't usually use them because I'm not a big fan of it, but since they are as popular as they are, why not give it a shot? And on this car it's actually pretty usable in my opinion, because you can use all of that power to overtake everyone and you still have some handling because the car is very small, light and rather controlled, but you just need to really make sure you brake early enough because you don't have the handling to correct for braking errors, so you will lose some time on that. But that being said, out of every corner you're gaining so much that it doesn't really matter. Also up the hill here you can just drive past everyone, but again just make sure you brake early enough because the cornering speed is not particularly amazing. It's good enough to not fly off the road, but that's about it. I mean, it's drag tires, what would you expect? They're made for driving in a straight line, and that they do well. So going into this corner sequence, you can still drive reasonably quickly through here. Like, it's not like it becomes undrivable. That is in part due to the car. The general frame of the car, it's a very sporty build. It's lightweight, easy to go around corners even with these tires. So all in all, pretty good. I definitely prefer it over the Skyline for a race like this, or a championship like this. Because as cool as the Skyline is, it's a lot bigger, it's a lot heavier, it's nowhere near as nimble through the town here. And if you want to showcase one of these drag tire tunes, it also has a problem, you need to move all of that weight around. And that's a lot more difficult when it comes to a tire choice like this one. There we go, picking up some points here. I nearly finished race 1 without too much trouble, and considering how easy it was to get the overtakes right at the start of the race, I can see why this sort of tune is as popular as it is. Even though I often prefer the cornering speed tunes that really give you a lot of handling. But then you also need to perform, you know. Here, I mean, you accelerate, drive past everyone, and then just try to stay on the road, and that's it. It has its benefits, even though staying on the road becomes a challenge here. Now we just drive past here. That finishes race number 1. 20 points, as expected. Z3 is such a cool car. It has a certain resemblance of the 1 series, just that it's a Z3, which to this day I find rather interesting and intriguing. Because if you look at the car itself, like, this looks very, very much like the 1 series of the time. Of course it had a bigger engine, but definitely if you look at it, pretty cool car, definitely. And then of course it was replaced by the Z4 Coupe, which had a very different form, and which is to this day what we know as the Z4. I mean, yeah, it changed, but not significantly. Could you stop driving into me, mate? That would be lovely. That somewhat stopped our progress of overtaking everyone right at the start, but there's only 2 people remaining, so... Here you can see the difference. If you watch the other championship, or any other video of mine, except for the 2 or 3 where I'm using such a tune already, but you will notice that usually I'm overtaking by braking later, going faster through the corners, cutting the checkpoints, and then just using that additional speed to position the car on the inside of the corner and then use superior cornering to overtake. Here, however, we use superior acceleration out of the corner or on the straight line. So your approach to the race changes. Because now you're going to try to stay close through the corner and not use the corner as overtaking opportunity. It's more so going to the low speed and then both cars accelerating out of a low speed, out of a corner, which really is your main focus. And that is also why you want to straighten the car as soon as possible, so that you can go full throttle as soon as possible. Whereas with the other sort of tune, when you go for the corner, you would be willing, if you enter it with more speed and you get your car beside and maybe on the inside, you would be willing to enter a minor drift if it somehow gets you in front, because then you would be blocking on the exit. So you really want to get in front in the corner and not on the exit. So the whole strategy of how you approach the race changes based on your selection of tires and the associated tune. Because generally speaking, if you go for a drag with tire tune, you would also go for more power to make use of that. Whereas if you go for sports tires or race tires, you also want the corresponding suspension, and you want the whole setup to allow you the maximum cornering speed. There we go, that's race number 2 in the bag. That makes 40 points. And it's becoming increasingly likely that it's another 60-point finish. But as we tend to say here, do not praise the day before the evening. Or something like that. Number 18,000. You probably even run a profit on this championship. Usually when you have to buy the car and the tune, you run a loss. But the car is rather inexpensive, and I think the tune isn't so bad neither. So you can probably run a profit from the 3 races, which is pretty good. It's rare enough. But you certainly won't run a profit on the other championship, so there's that. With either a Lotus for 1.8 million or a Ferrari F50 for 2 million, you're probably not going to run much of a profit. And even from this championship, if you maybe make a 10k profit, it's not going to buy you a 2 million car, unfortunately. I don't think I pushed him, but that was of course pretty smart to just stay behind him, use him to brake, and then push the other car into the traffic, more or less. So that was a pretty smooth overtake into first. Uh-oh. Avoiding the traffic there. What's crazy with this car and this tune is that we still have competitive cornering speed, despite our massive power advantage. Especially once you get used to driving that sort of tune, it becomes a lot easier, because you just take less of a risk into the corners. But it's okay, just brake a little bit earlier, play a little more safe. With the traffic it can be difficult because it can throw you off the line, but even if you're thrown off the line, just drive a little bit slower, you have enough power to get back up to speed, which is good, of course. But that's what you want to do. I mean, with the other tunes you want to get around the traffic also, but you don't want to slow down as much. So it's really every aspect of the game that really changes when you decide to switch setup. I'll go for the corner. It's not as easy as it may sometimes occur to really judge the speed that you are allowed to take or that you can take. And here it becomes difficult now because we don't have the top speed, we only have the acceleration. Now we're on the highway, so not having the top speed can ruin your race, but our lead is so big that it doesn't matter. And it doesn't appear like they have a whole lot more top speed, so there's that. Oh, but we definitely had to brake through there. What's dangerous is like when you have traffic like that and you need to lift and quickly correct, then it can offset your car. And in this case we kept the grip, which is good. But once you lose the grip on a tune like that, you're gone. car off the road. So you need to be careful of that. So that's another 60 points. 3 wins, 3 races, exactly what we wanted. Hope you enjoyed it. There is the VM3 for the stunts, so if you didn't have that, there you go. Then you can do the stunts. Yeah, send that as a gift to new players. I'm not sure they're going to enjoy that, but why not? So again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, farewell.